You are more powerful than you think because the reality you experience is shaped by the thoughts you nurture. Joe Dispenza. Take a moment to reflect on this quote. How many times have you felt powerless in the face of circumstances? How many times has life seemed overwhelming with challenges that felt insurmountable? The truth is, for many of us, these experiences become all too familiar. But what if you knew there was untapped power within you, waiting to be awakened? What if you knew this power could transform your reality, turning the impossible into the possible? Joe Dispenza, through his decades of study and practice, constantly reminds us that we are stronger than we imagine. He teaches us that when we master our mind, emotions, and thoughts, we change our biology. Through neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and reorganize, and emotional intelligence, we can rewrite our destiny. The strength you need isn't outside of you. It isn't in something or someone. It's inside you, waiting for you to claim it. In this video, we'll explore how this inner strength manifests and how you can access it to transform your life. Ready to discover the extent of your power? Let's begin. Joe Dispenza tells us that our thoughts have a direct impact on our reality. But how does that happen? Let's explore this concept in a more scientific way. Our brain is a network of neural connections, constantly being shaped by our experiences, and especially by our thoughts. This is what we call neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to form new connections and change its structure. Every time you think about something repeatedly, these neural connections become stronger. Think of it like trails in a forest. The more you walk the same path, the more visible and easier to follow it becomes. This means your recurring thoughts, whether positive or negative, are literally shaping how your brain functions and, by extension, shaping your reality. Now, if your thoughts are predominantly negative, you will train your brain to see the world through that lens. You end up identifying with feelings of weakness, powerlessness, or lack of control. However, the opposite is also true. If you shift the focus of your thoughts, you can change the way your brain is organized. Joe Dispenza calls this creating a new state of being. The science behind this is simple but powerful. Our thoughts affect our neurotransmitters, which in turn influence our body, emotions, and even our physical health. When you believe in your power and start thinking constructively, you trigger a series of chemical reactions in your body that align your physical and emotional state with that belief. This is where transformation begins. Ready to keep exploring how to access this power? Let me know when you're ready to move on to the next part. Now that we understand the scientific basis behind changing thoughts and how it affects our reality, it's time to bring practical examples of how this transformation happens. Throughout his lectures and workshops, Joe Dispenza shares countless stories of people who achieved extraordinary healing and personal transformation through the power of the mind. One such example is the case of a woman named Diane. She suffered from a debilitating disease called multiple sclerosis, a condition that affects the central nervous system, causing pain and movement limitations. After years of struggling and little hope from traditional medicine, Diane decided to attend one of Joe Dispenza's events. There, she learned how her mind could, in fact, influence her body, and began practicing meditation and visualization techniques daily, as taught by him. Diane visualized her healing in detail. She saw herself walking freely, felt the joy of moving her arms and legs without pain, and most importantly, believed in the possibility of her healing. As she consistently repeated these thoughts and feelings, something remarkable happened. The symptoms began to fade. Diane, who was once confined to a wheelchair, gradually began to walk and regain her life. This case is not isolated. Joe Dispenza has collected stories like this from his workshops around the world. The key to these transformations isn't just thinking positively for a few minutes a day. It's training the mind to stay in that state of being, where you believe, feel, and act according to your new reality. As Dispenza says, you must let go of the old you for the new you to emerge. And this involves a genuine commitment to changing the mental and emotional patterns that keep you tied to your old state of being. These examples show how ordinary people, with real diseases and seemingly insurmountable challenges, have accessed the inner strength they didn't know they had. Diane wasn't an exception. She simply chose to change the way she thought and felt about her body and life. If these stories teach us anything, it's that we are more powerful than we imagine. You can change your reality, whether it's in terms of health, relationships, career, or any other aspect, if you start training your mind to align with the reality you want to create. From the inspiring examples we've seen, it's clear that transformation begins the moment you decide to align your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with the reality you want to create. But what is the foundation for this deep connection between mind and body? And why for many of us does it seem so difficult to achieve? Joe Dispenza explains that the key lies in the connection between our emotional state and our physiology. Our emotions are the chemical messengers of our body, influencing every cell and determining our physical and mental health. When we live in negative emotional states like fear, anger, sadness, or frustration, our body gets used to those feelings. It becomes addicted to the chemicals associated with those emotions, creating a cycle of emotional dependence. This explains why it sometimes seems so hard to break free from negative thought patterns or from emotional states that limit us. When the body becomes accustomed to these feelings, it literally craves them, like an addiction. And for change to happen, it is necessary to reprogram this cycle. The practice of meditation, which Dispenza teaches in his workshops, is one of the most powerful tools for this. Meditation allows you to slow down the mind and create a state of coherence between the heart and brain, a state where your thoughts and emotions are in perfect harmony. When you enter this state of coherence, something fascinating happens. Your body begins to reorganize according to this new energy. You start to feel elevated emotions like gratitude, love, and joy, which signals to your body that it is no longer in danger, and therefore can begin to heal. Science confirms this. Studies show that positive emotions have the power to reduce cortisol levels, the stress hormone, increase the production of endorphins, and improve immune system function. When you consistently sustain these emotional states, your body begins to respond to this new chemistry, triggering self-healing processes. This is the power of living beyond the conditioning of the past. By stepping out of emotional autopilot and consciously choosing how to feel, you literally change your body's chemistry. This is one of the most powerful lessons from Joe Dispenza's work, the power to transform your biology through mastery of the mind and emotions. You are not a prisoner of your circumstances. By learning to regulate your thoughts and emotions, you become the creator of your own experience. And by practicing this repeatedly, transformation becomes inevitable. Now that we've explored how thoughts and emotions shape our reality, we've reached the most important point of this journey, the recognition that you are indeed stronger than you imagine. What does that really mean? It means that within you lies the unlimited potential to transform any aspect of your life, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. Joe Dispenza reminds us that true strength doesn't just lie in overcoming external obstacles, but in having conscious control over what happens inside us. This involves a profound shift in how we see ourselves. Most of the time, we live trapped by a set of limiting beliefs about what we're capable of. These beliefs are formed over a lifetime, shaped by our experiences and external influences, and lead us to think that we are victims of circumstances, prisoners of the past, or powerless before the future. But Dispenza challenges us to rewrite that narrative.